So I'm gonna make a free ball video. I've got some talking points. I don't really have a lot planned out. This is actually one of the first videos I'm ever gonna make for this topic. And in general, if I get really going in my channel, I'm just gonna do a lot of different things about different subjects. But for those who don't know, and obviously all of you don't know because I'm not really a popular YouTuber or anything. I was in the Air Force for I still technically am. I'm coming up on the end of my contract in about 2 months. April 21st, I get out. But I spent the last 5 years, 5.5 years, as security forces in the Air Force. Basically, hindsight's always 2020. So whenever you look back on anything, you know how to do better. I didn't have a perfect enlistment, but I had pretty good. Pretty fucking awesome enlistment. And I see a lot of people go through their whole contract and they don't really get the most out of the Air Force. And I'm also really kind of confused why a lot of people don't join the Air Force. And I'm not here just to pump the Air Force up. Like, I got a lot of problems with it. I don't think it's a perfect institution or organization, but it's close to as much free shit as you can get at little to no risk for you and maximum gain. So I'm just going to go off the first bullet I have here. So basically what I made is a roadmap for what I consider is the perfect enlistment. At the end of my roadmap, you're going to get 6 months of paid leave, a 2-year associate's degree in your choice, roughly a job you're choosing that relies heavily on you and how well you do in the first portion and what kind of a contract you want to get. So the main thing is when you're applying for the Air Force is recruiters have a quota and they need to push out a certain amount of 6-year contracts, as far as I'm aware. Don't sign it. You might think doing 6 years is a good idea, but it's impossible to know if you want to do something for 6 years. Coming from somebody who just got out, I'm super glad I was only able to do my job for 5.5, and I was basically soulless. I mean, security force is an entire different conversation. So I might make another video about that. My time in security forces, I don't regret it. I'm glad I did it. Actually, it's the best move I ever made in my 20s. But there's a big difference between glad you did something and glad you didn't do it for 6 years straight. Anyway, back on topic. So ideally, you want a 4-year contract. You can get through anything in 4 years. And people will tell you, and you think it's kind of bullshit, but it's true. A 4-year contract will come and go like a blink of an eye, especially if you join early, like 18, 19, 20. You know, you'd be out at 24, 23, 22. Got the entire rest of your life ahead of you. So a 4-year contract is ideal. Talk to anybody who did a 6-year contract, especially in security forces, they're going to tell you they made a big mistake. And my situation is I didn't initially sign a 6-year security forces contract. I signed a combat control contract. But anyway, neither here nor there. So you really want to make sure you do. And this whole thing is about just in general, I feel like, to get the most out of a military experience. When you take your ASVAB, you got to make sure you get above a 55. That's like the basic rule of thumb. Like, when I went through, you had to get above a 50 to even talk to an Air Force recruiter. At 55 and above, you can get most jobs that you want, especially because, like, that's the baseline for special operations. I mean, I went through the whole process back in 2015. So it's 2021. So a lot has changed since then. But ideally, like, that's just a good benchmarker. If you get under that, you should probably retake it. You know, just try and get as high as you can, because The higher you get, the more jobs you get. I got, personally, I didn't set the world on fire. I got 64 for the job I wanted at the time. It was high enough. So I didn't feel the need to retake it. And plus, I'd been out of school for a while. I didn't really take it seriously, but you don't want to be with a low ASVAB and not even, one, get into the Air Force, or two, get gridlocked into a job you don't want. If my initial application played out a little bit differently, I could have been doing a lot of different other jobs. So now we're going to get into the bread and butter of it. You got a 4-year contract. You got high enough, obviously, so you can choose whatever job you want. Now you're into the job you want. I mean, really research what the Air Force has to offer. They offer so many things that translate well to the outside. So that's kind of your own due diligence on whether or not you find a job you want, you choose it effectively, and it's right for you. So now that you're in, so you got 4 years, it should be pretty much everybody's main goal when you're in the military, in the Air Force specifically, to get a CCF. And a CCF is an Air Force equivalent to an associate's degree. It is basically just an associate's degree. I have mine up here. Just for video's sake. And it's in criminal justice, because security forces is military police, and that's what the Air Force's military police are. But basically, so it should be your main goal to get an associate's degree while you're in the Air Force associate's degree, because basically, whatever job you get, you go through basic training, and then you go through your secondary training for tech school. So your entire tech school, assuming you pass both, you get credits towards the Community College of the Air Force, and a CCAF. So basically, you've completed half of an associate's degree, for the most part, after your technical training. So to complete the other half, you have to go back to college. And keep in mind, there's an amazing school which will help you figure out the Air Force's tuition assistance better than the Air Force knows how to figure out its own tuition assistance, and that's called American Military University. They will literally grab your hand and walk you through the entire process like you've never done anything in your entire life, and make it super easy for you to go to school. There's going to be a lot of things that you're going to want to take your time. I'm not telling you not to have fun in general. Have fun, do everything. But you got to, the thing about education too, you could get kicked out of the Air Force, dishonorably discharged, everything. They can't take your CCF away from you. So that's one thing you need to consider, is if you get an associate's degree, they can't touch it. And it's a free degree. So if you get a job you want, your CCF is basically the job you're getting. And associates, and so mine is in criminal justice. I can't remember if I said that or not, but I did. That's right. So whatever you get, whatever job you get after your technical training, you'll get an associate's degree in that, assuming you complete the rest of your college. So American Military University, they offer really good courses. They offer, it's about a 2-month course for a class. And the way you do this, the way I did it, made a lot of sense. I knocked out almost an entire CCF in 1 year. You start one class, so let's say beginning, end, middle. You start one class, and halfway through the middle part, you start another class. So this is how you can knock out an entire semester while still only taking 2 classes at a time. So one class starts, halfway through that other class, your second class starts. Then halfway through that first class, halfway through that second class, your first class ends. Then halfway through your second class, you start a third class. So then halfway through that second class, halfway through that third class, your second class ends. And then you're just taking one last class. So you can knock out an entire semester in the time you normally would, with the amount of classes you normally would, with only taking about 2 classes at a time. These are accelerated courses from a school that's regionally accredited and will provide you with pretty decent transferable credits. It's pretty much, I don't know of anybody who's taken courses at American Military University and those credits didn't transfer. So definitely the college you want to go to. And you can, if you're dedicated, if you really want to get a degree and you really want to get education, you can knock the whole thing out in about a year. I had some college going in, so it made it a little easier for me, but I knocked out my whole CCF in about 1 year. So let's kind of look at what we got as a whole. Assuming you've done everything else, your first year is going to be training. So year 1, training. Cool, we're out of training. Year 2, you're at your first duty station, you're getting your 5 level, which actually, yeah. And you're getting qualified. So now after you get qualified, usually, I don't know how other jobs do it. It takes us, when I went through, they gave you like a whole year to get that. But I don't know, you can work at your own pace. If you're dedicated, you can knock it out quick. So that gives you roughly 2.5, 3 years to get your associate's degree. So if you spend, well, 2.5, 3 years until your enlistment ends. Now, what we're going to talk about is 6 months of paid leave, which is what I'm doing right now. It's amazing. It's called Skill Bridge. So you've got about 2 years to get your associates. You're not going to need that much if you do it correctly and you're disciplined and you take the classes and you don't go out drinking and you keep up on your grades. Another thing you need to keep in mind, AMU is a pretty resource heavy school. You can use your resources. It's all online. Most of the tests aren't. I'm not telling you to cheat. I'm telling you, use your resources. It's not hard. So, now we're going to get to the final portion of what I would consider to be a perfect enlistment, because I've been doing this and it's an absolute godsend. It's allowed me to move in with my wife into our house, relocate, look for jobs, basically do whatever I need. And it's called SkillBridge. SkillBridge is an agreement you make with the Air Force, basically, that you will intern at a job of your choice, and they will provide you with training, certifications, and basically allow you to transition effectively to the outside. I might make a whole other video on that because it's an involved process. It's not a very, it is, but it isn't. It's simple, but like your CCF, you have to work for it. So basically, what I just laid out is a roadmap. If I can figure out how to edit videos, which hopefully shouldn't be too hard, I will put another section past this, or I won't, because I'm not sure I need a visual representation of what I just said. But to summarize, 4-year contract, get a good score on your ASVAB, work on your CCF, go to American Military University. There's other good colleges. I think Phoenix Online offers some good stuff too, but I know tried and true for me and other airmen that I've worked with, American Military University is by far the best. And then towards the end of your enlistment, do a skill bridge. So basically, in a 4-year period, you've got technical training, job experience, a 2-year associate's degree, and 6 months paid leave in a 4-year period. This is what the Air Force offers, is the best kept secret for any confused, lost 20-year-old. If you join, I mean, they won't tell you about a lot of this crap. You have to join with the mindset that you're going to use the Air Force as much as they use you, which I don't think is a controversial thing to say, because all of these things they offer, they just don't really make it that well known in my experience. So for anyone who's looking to join the Air Force, I'm just laying out a little what I consider to be the perfect roadmap. If you got any questions, you can message me. Uh, just getting into this YouTube thing, if it takes off, cool. I'll make some more. I'll make some response videos to questions I might have. But for now, that's a good place to leave off. Y'all have a good day.